Hey guys, and thanks for checking back in. It's us from the Bavarian hut, trying to rejuvenate a little bit before kind of the madness in November stumbles upon us. So we wanted to give you like small last sneak peeks into what is coming and what you're kind of what you've kind of been waiting for the last couple of month.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think you've seen in the channels that we've already speeding up the posting of the sneak peeks, and we're getting these ducks in a row right now. But to give you some clarity, what's going to happen? So what is the release? The release is going to be a free-to-play campaign where we invite players that haven't experienced Evrloot, but it's also going to be a limited collection of NFTs. The second collection we've ever released that is introducing 2 new classes to play Evrloot.
2 new classes with 2 new genders. So
it's 2 new genders.
It's basically it was a really important piece for us as well. I mean, looking at the greater crypto space as a whole, and maybe you don't care about it as much, but we want to be a collection that can be representative. So it was really important for us to not only have these either very loosely clothed women or these super huge muscular
no shots
dudes.
Fired to any project, yeah.
We have a very cool collection now. We're very proud of it. And the cool thing about it as well is, even though this is a new collection, we're not one of those projects that is like, oh, we sold 1,000 NFTs in our first collection, let's go for 10,000. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah, we're staying in the same ballpark.
Will probably be even a little bit less. So we are very aware of all the support we've been getting from the community and all kind of the hype you guys also have been feeling with us for the last couple of months and years. And we don't just want to dilute you guys to the absolute bone. So yeah, everything just for you to get reassured we do is really also putting these thoughts into motion.
Because we also know that nothing of what we're planning is possible without you guys. Without your support, without your on social media, without you leading the charge in all of this, in all of sharing this, it won't be possible. Obviously, we have some marketing budget, we'll have some influencers come in and so on, but a strong community, we know, is an important asset. And that's what we, in the core design of what we did, is also what we're representing. So if you hear a collection, if you hear these things, you can always know that we keep all your interests at our hearts. And that we designed the system like this.
I mean, thinking back to, and I think that really inspired us to the Friends of Evrloot thing we did back in the day, and we got a lot of feedback from you guys as well, where it's like, hey, okay, I want to show the game to a friend, but what can he do then? And that was like the biggest goal we had with everything we built now in November is we want you guys to be able to show it to a buddy of yours who doesn't even know about crypto. They don't need to know about crypto at all, and they just want to take a sneak peek at a cool looking game with dark vibes, with an interesting lore, and a very clear and easy to understand onboarding process. This was like the most important stuff for us. By the way, Friends of Evrloot is going to come to an end pretty soon as well. But this was kind of the first inspiration for us to set this up and kind of allow everybody who likes Evrloot to share it with their people.
So the core mission after EVCC for us was to not continue like building feature after feature, like week after week, and make tournament after tournament, but we knew like the best for us all, for you and us, is if we aim for something big with you guys. And that's coming in November, right? And that's why we've been in our caves and in our retreat here and working and have been growing the team. So there's a lot in the back and we need your support going forward. And that's also the reason why sometimes maybe it's been a bit slower in the last days, because we fully focus on this kind of go big or go home approach where we say, hey, we want to attract people. We want to attract people not just from Polkadot. We want to attract people from Solana, from ETH. We want to use marketing agencies to do so. So let's all greet the people that will come very hopefully. So no one knows, but like we're doing our best to do this. And it's all been set up, as Lou said, to technically send the link to your parents without any Web3 knowledge. And they could start getting to know what missions are. They could start getting to know what expeditions are. And that is the so-called Warborn.
So maybe let's go a little bit into more detail, because what we've just said, you guys probably knew already, or we talked about it, I think, even in the last podcast episode already. But what is actually waiting for you? So we showed some sneak peeks about the whole clan system. We think it's a very I think we kind of also tried to create a system where, okay, we are deploying marketing capital, but we don't want to be another project that, I don't know, pays some big influencers so they get their 10,000 followers to click on a link and basically do nothing. We brought in place this clan system, which really aims at creating actual community. So we don't just want to have, like a lot of other projects are doing, 100,000 people that clicked on a link. We want to convert as many of those new eyes we get onto the projects. We want to get those 100,000 as well, but we want to convert them to actual players. So the clans are a big part of that. That also makes it very attractive to any key opinion lead, like any influencer on Twitter. It makes it very attractive to a lot of you guys as well. I mean, I'm part of the River Rangers, for example. We're going to have our own clan, of course, but it makes it very attractive for anybody that kind of wants to gather people behind them. And a lot of people get excited about that and kind of getting this community feeling. So, like, as a first thing, the clan system is really aiming to make it as organic as possible and make you guys really feel like you're part of something bigger than just yourself.
And
so
also,
this is very exciting.
And also non-Evrlooters, to give them a representation, like be it a Twitter influencer, someone else, to give them a representation in the game. And it's, as you said, it's not just clicking a link. It's like you get your, like the points you collect in the whole process. They are only available if you refer someone that plays through the tutorial. So there is some metrics in place that to avoid bots and to know that we have real players and not just like a click farm somewhere on the other side of the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, a cool thing also is, like, just on like a technical note, for example, like you don't need to teach your parents how to join your clan, for example. It's just your normal referral code. You give it to them. If you are part of a clan, they're automatically joined as well. So again, trying to make it as easy as possible, as little amount of clicks as people could possibly need. And what the solution we now have is basically you get on a landing page, you have one click that is like, hey, get started. There's like a small teaser, and then the next click is basically you jumping into the game and getting to understand the first mechanics. So making it really as bulletproof as we possibly can.
Small clarification: our target group isn't your parents. It's also not our parents, but that's kind of the margin we want to, or the point, the goal we want to hit in terms of UX ease, right? So because if someone from Solana joins, that is important. But we know, like the next 12 months, we're most likely going to have the standard crypto folks, and we're targeting those. But by lowering the entry boundaries, by not like having to have Moonbeam Glimmer on your wallet, by not needing to know about like bridges from you and so on, that lowers the boundary, and that makes it easy for us to get these people in. But at the end, and that's I think a good segue from the Warborn, like the characters that you can add to your current party, so they will show up side by side with your current Genesis NFTs. You play with these guys, and these guys progress in with items, and they progress with experience, they progress with reputations, and it's a system that you'll figure out and you'll get to know. But the very important thing that comes up is they have a role in their expeditions, but it expires in some way, because if they die from a certain level on, they can lose a life. So you can lose a valuable party member that you might not want to use. Sorry for the dogs. If one starts barking, everyone's barking. So what we have as a mitigation for that is you can upgrade your character, and this upgrade is basically the mint, and the only the second mint after 3 years that we ever did. And when you talked about the NFT collection before, that is this. So we're not just like making a whitelist or the classic NFT stuff. We're letting you play, customizing your character, enriching your character, and then depending on what you got on your Warborn, your NFT is minted as a shadow, as a mirror of your Warborn, but it can be either one class or the other one. And we're going to teaser these over the next 2 weeks.
I mean, the cool thing about it is that if you still remember our first mint, it was like, depending on which tier you kind of were getting, you had a different chance for items. How we did it now, and I think it's a very cool approach, is you play with that Warborn first, you try to unlock items, for example, and then once you decide to upgrade that character, like Deckard said, you're going to take those items with you to the actual NFT. So there still is this clear distinction, and everybody who has played our game before will also see what that distinction is. Between a Warborn, so the free-to-play character that anybody can start without needing gas, without needing any more complications, and the actual NFTs. So the NFTs are still the real deal. They are the ones that earn the resources. They are the ones that
do it on
actually do it on chain. Although we do have a solution there as well where you don't need to care about wallets anymore at all, even though it is on chain, but maybe more on that in another time. But there is still this clear distinction, but it's also an awesome experience as a Warborn because there's a lot of new content where people can just try to understand our game and also get this excitement that a lot of you guys are already feeling. And it's just I always compare it to kind of like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, where it's a very easy and understandable onboarding process, very quick at the beginning. And then if you want to get into the real deal, you'll obviously need one of the characters of the actual NFTs.
Exactly, and therefore there is scarcity, there are waves coming up, so some or many of you even might remember the Warrior Soul, the Fabled Souls, and so on. So we're again going to have tiers, but as Lou said, it's not going to be dependent on the, it's not going to depend or to influence the items that you're going to have, because that's what you play for as a Warborn, and these transfer. So just an example, you have a Warborn and you have an epic mace, then you can be sure that you're going to have an epic main hand weapon on your future NFT. So you take away everything that you have. So the more you build that up, obviously the higher the chance of dying as well, but you can then kind of transfer it. And
I guess one big aspect that we haven't gone into too much throughout this whole phase yet is like the quest board, as a whole. So we explained that it is a onboarding experience for you and for anybody that doesn't know about Evrloot. It's going to be the point of entry for anybody new. Like, they're going to get into this very nice looking quest board. If you scroll throughout Twitter, you're going to see it immediately. And the main goal of it is understanding what the game is like and getting like a very linear onboarding process. But throughout it, you are either earning packs that you can use to get more items for the Warborn. You can earn, I think, guilds they're called, so in-game currency basically that is used, for example, to buy packs and other stuff. But one big aspect of this all is also the Evrloot marks you are gathering. So every action, also some social actions like connecting your Twitter, connecting Discord, everything is earning you Evrloot marks. And also after the tutorial, there's a big achievement section of the quest board, which basically also only looks at stuff you achieved within the game.
Kill 20 skeletons,
exactly.
Do a mission 5 consecutive days in a row. Stuff like that.
Exactly. And again, all of these, some only possible with souls, for example, so some only possible with NFTs. All of these things earn you Evrloot marks. And ultimately, the whole goal of this campaign that we're pushing out in the end of November is gathering as many Evrloot marks as you possibly can. And that's a very exciting part about it. There's a leaderboard, there's multiplier with when you join a certain clan, for example, and that clan is very active. Like, everything evolves around that with very exciting gameplay and also very exciting content.
And that's especially what we want to give away to you, OG people, that these marks are an important part of the future where we're heading together. And the whole system is also, the tiers will be designed to have, for example, an extra mini % of more mark gaining per tier that you get. So for example, if you buy the bit more expensive update, you can earn a bit more of this. But it's a fair, and we believe it's a fair pricing and a fair and a fair like we always did.
I mean, the big difference, I think, from us to a lot of other projects in the whole crypto space is that this isn't just our initial launch where there's like some stuff dropping, or look at the Beacon, for example, you can have some demos playing. We have like a fully fleshed out 2 years in development game behind it, right? So you can maybe say we're not a off the grid type of game, we're not a Call of Duty, we're not a World of Warcraft, but we do have a lot of mechanics already built. We have our own marketplace, we have all these different missions, expeditions are super exciting now with loot drops and everything. There's a lot of stuff to do now, and the most exciting part about this now is we get these new people in and they immediately have something to do. They can either grind in the achievement board, they can go to the marketplace and find items they are looking for, they can go into expeditions and get the newest loot drops. There's a lot of content, and all of it builds up even more the beginning of next year, where we really have this campaign leading into April that is going to be very exciting as well.
So if you made it this far in the video, you might have also read parts of the article that we published. So imagine the fighting system coming into there. Imagine the not yet disclosed world PvP system that we have over there. So it's not just content that we're going to, although we have a very stable technical foundation so that we can put new enemies, new rooms, new loot, new missions. That is one possibility, but the other possibility we have is to enhance really the fighting to the more technical depth. I recommend reading that article. Also, the Koos made a video about it. And much, much more that we believe will also attract the Web3 crowds. So for the likes of people who played World PvP, we've seen some dynamics that we really liked, and we're going to integrate parts in our game while maintaining the game to be not a monster of complexity. So we looked at other games like, for example, DeFi, what is it, DeFi Kingdoms? I think it was DeFi Kingdoms, with 1 million different buildings you can click on. We don't want to be that. We want to be, that's why we are also scrapping, like go to the tavern and talk to this guy, then clean up this. It was too complicated, right? We need to get the people, and that's what the quest board serves as a purpose. We need to get the people in easily and then have a nice and understandable game loop that doesn't need a wiki to explain it.
The depth of the game can't be at the beginning. It needs to like gradually come throughout, and there will still be depth. Obviously, all the characters, they have so much metadata, they have so many traits and different stuff that will obviously play a part in the game as well. So the depth is still there, but the problem we have at the moment is that you get thrown into this big pool and you almost drown immediately, whereas we want to get you to the beach first, and you can walk into the water as fast as you want. And if you don't know how to swim at all, you're not going to drown. You can still stay outside if you want. So I guess it's also like a very nice ending point. We can kind of conclude the thing is we are very aware that we're not going to be the next Call of Duty. We're not going to be, like I said, the next World of Warcraft, or even like something like Off the Grid that raised hundreds of millions of dollars. We know that our technology and innovation is very great, and we are holding ourselves to a standard where we can attract Web2 users by the simplicity of the product we have. But we know there's still so much more to conquer in Web3, and that's ultimately the crowd we're going for. We really want to be the Web3 game that has a Web2 user experience in the end, but still has this innovation that a lot of projects are lacking, to be honest.
And innovation that in many cases only Web3 can bring, right? So we'll also embrace that part.
So rather than seeing us as maybe something like what Dreamica is building, a very immersive, very high-tech kind of game that needs its own engine with all these plugins and everything, we try to be more light touch, make it easy to understand, make it an easy user experience, but really showcase the incredible tech we're building. And there's so much coming out as well. While we are preparing for this, we're already developing, especially with Steven, stuff that's coming out in the next couple of months on like the blockchain side of things, and that stuff is very exciting. I mean, if you are like a fan of what Mythical is doing with their marketplace, for example, you're gonna fall absolutely in love with what we're building, and it's almost done at this point as well. So there is a lot coming, and this really is just the beginning, although it has been going on for the last 2.5 years, or like 2.5 to 3 years. This is really where it starts now. That's what's so exciting for us as well. With everything we've been doing for the last couple of months, this is the point we've been working towards.
So if you're an Evrlooter that's been a bit slumbering and like not sending the souls very frequently to missions, that don't worry, right? There is something big coming towards you, and it's going to hit in about 1 month. So stay vigilant, have a look at our Twitter, and follow us here. And there is a lot of info that we're going to share.
Let's go.